What is up, Retromaniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name's Mike. I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two guys that no matter how old I get, no matter how little I play, no matter how many times I have to have my arm surgically reattached to my body, they still don't beat me in our yearly post-fantasy football draft golf round. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
I already have a lot of bits that I want to do at the top of the show. Now I have to add another one and just say, hi, I'm Joe from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I'm joined by one man who still, after all these years, can't beat me in golf. That's
true.
EP Eric
It is
Pahalik.
true.
He
It
is
is
always.
true.
Though, to be fair, EP, you did not throw any clubs, and you made the two shots of the day, back-to-back holes, off the green, on the fringe. I want to say the one, not joking, was like, what, 70 feet?
It was long.
Was
The next one
ridiculous.
was not as long, but it was still like 20 or 30 feet. The next one,
Like, he just goes up and whacks the ball, like doesn't take a practice swing, doesn't look at the line, goes up, whacks it, and bam, right into the pin, drops in. Happened once, comes back and does it a second time, and I almost just laughed.
I know, we're looking at each other like, what is going on here? Are there cameras?
There's
like
a glitch in the matrix or something.
When I hit the first one, the really long one, I was like, that one has a chance. There's no way, but that one has a chance, and it kept going and going and going, and the little turn went right in. It's like, it went in. The next one, I played it up. I threw my glove in the air because I still had my glove on because I was on the fringe. So I threw my glove in the air, dropped my club, went walking up to
You're
it.
Like, I'm done.
Yep.
And then he proceeded to still lose, but
right.
the effort was there.
At that point, I was leading you though, which I don't know if I've ever led you on the golf course ever.
No, not usually
in the history of our golf. So that felt pretty good.
Yeah, Mike, you shot a 79.
I shot a 79. You shot an 82, and EP shot a 93, which is, people don't know how bad EP is at golf. That is really good for him. And really like I said, like Joe and I had moments, especially on the front nine, where we were just looking at each other like, huh?
Who is this?
Yeah. Like, I didn't know if he got like special golf lessons from Tiger
I thought he
Woods
was
or
like
something,
on the side. He was going to tournaments or something.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm going to show these guys this year. But yeah, I was even worried he was going to beat me at one point.
I think at one point you were only up like 2 on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was like, and he was ahead.
And it was on the back nine. Yeah. So it was getting a little hairy out there.
I had a couple of those patented EP 9s, I think, on the back nine, like an 8 and a 9. That'll hurt you.
Thankfully,
thank God for those. I'll tell you that.
My arm stayed on; it didn't fall off. I was very happy about that.
I was impressed actually for the first time in a while that you actually managed to keep your arm attached through the entire golf round.
So remember that one time it just flew off with the club, and
that was because Joe ran into it. Right?
No, that was a totally different time.
Oh, different.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's the other arm. Yeah.
That's so like 20 years ago. Let's move on. Let's move on from me running over my.
Oh, hey, you never forget near-death experiences. No, we can't. We will never move on from it.
There's a reason why
manual thing.
I rode with Joe, and there's a reason why. Like when I was in that cart, he wasn't driving. I let him take it a couple times, but I was not in the cart. I don't think at any point when he was driving.
Like 20 years, guys. Come on. Let's move on from me almost killing both of you with golf carts. God.
Joe, turn your mic a little bit more toward you so the viewers can hear you a little bit.
Oh, am I
there
low?
You go. Yeah, there you go. Oh, so Joe, what's up? Like, where's Kenny Pickett? Did you move out of your room again? What's going on here?
I will say, much like The Undertaker, I went to the top. I'm walking across the ropes. I'm going old school. This is my old school. By the way, did I practice that line in front of the mirror, you ask? Yes, I did. And do I think it was great? You're goddamn right I do. I love that line. I've been working on that all morning. I'm down here. Bailey, I told the story for the Patreon viewers. Had some accidents in her crate. I'm not exactly sure I want her out of my sight. So if I shut my room and record, I'm a little nervous that she might mark her territory a little bit more. So I am down here in the open space. So yeah, it was a little nasty. But before we move on, I did mention to you guys that I found something at my grandfather's house. This weekend was great. I came out, visited you guys, visited family, played golf. We did the Rusty Rail, which I'll be getting into that here pretty soon. We had our fantasy football draft, which condolences EP as usual. So I went up and grabbed some stuff from my old bedroom from my grandparents' house to potentially sell on eBay or, put into the collection or whatever. And I opened up this one box and I found all this old golf stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys or the viewers are like this, but if you tell your family you're like into something and they don't know what to do for like a holiday, they buy you things that are related to that thing. So I got for like 3 or 4 years when we were really, really into golf, I got the most random, like I got teddy bears holding golf clubs. I got, like little placards, like just everything golf related, right? All of it I rolled my eyes at back then. But I did find one thing that perfectly encapsulates this podcast.
Oh,
the three of us.
I'm excited.
I'm a little nervous. This is, and please, if you have not watched our video on Dustin's feed several months ago, go back and watch it on the Sports Card Dad.
Wow, that is us.
That is amazing.
The Three Stooges playing golf. Like,
Wow.
I mean,
Amazing episode of the Stooges too, by the way. But
come
yeah.
on.
Wow.
Is there anything more accurate or more apropos than this mug for our podcast? So
Amazing.
This is too small for my coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. So this is my water mug. So I'm going to take a sip of my water right here. But yeah,
Nice.
Cheers, boys. Three Stooges.
Wow.
Cheers. That's
that
awesome.
Is fantastic.
We wear it with a badge of honor. Or
We
like a badge
do.
of honor.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yep.
But down to the real drink. Thank you to the unofficial sponsor, the Rusty Rail, for nice 6.9% ABV.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Literally.
All right.
What's
I'm
new
done.
and
Those are all my
exciting,
bits.
EP, what's going on with you?
Oh, nothing. I was glad I had a chance to golf with you guys. We had people on vacation this week, this past week, and so like it was we made for a real hellish week. Like there's no other way to really put it. It was I worked a lot of hours and didn't have much time to do much card stuff. We did find out that Mike pointed out that the PSA has in my opinion, a relatively decent special this month for
Football cards.
Yep, thank you. Football cards from
That's what
2000 to 2023.
I saved the
For
viewers from like a
$15.99.
10-minute break where EP tried to figure out.
I'm staring at the ceiling trying to think of the word.
Where's that word at?
I'm gonna do outtakes of those at some point.
But I got a couple Brady rookies and some other cards that I'm gonna look through and see if they're in good shape. If they're 10 material, then send them in. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
So
Getting a
we're gonna
chance to
look
work
for
on that
a
stuff.
reveal video coming up soon. What time did you go into work on Friday, EP?
It was 3 o'clock, 3 p.m.,
o'clock.
which is
3
my normal
p.m.
time
on Friday.
Yes.
And then what time were you telling us you got home from work? That you went in 3 p.m. on Friday.
It was 5:13 a.m. is when I got home.
That's like
So
14 hours?
38 hours.
I don't have enough fingers to really count how many hours it was. So I lost track. So
Thank God for overtime. Am I right, though? Whew.
Yeah, right.
That's a
I'll-
negative Ghost Rider.
I also didn't tell you guys I had a couple late nights, but I don't like. I'm not really, normally not tired when I drive home. Like that a few years ago that was the case because I was working way more hours then. I'm still working a decent number of hours, obviously, but I'm not. There's not as many many of those hours. Like I used to have a couple days a week where I would have a shift like that where I work five or three to 5. So that's not going on anymore. So it's not sleep. But I was driving home and I thought I saw a deer, but then
Then it was a human.
it wasn't actually a deer. It was a possum, but I still thought I should swerve out of the way. I was doing 65 and I swerved hard and I thought I was going to die. I've never been in a car when it was
I
on 2
shouldn't be
wheels,
laughing, but
I felt like it was on 2 wheels. Like there was a point where I
So
was
it's like me driving a golf cart.
skidding. So yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't doing 360s. I didn't, but I thought I was gonna die. Like it was scary. It was something else.
no,
For a
I
possum.
speak for everyone when I say I'm glad you didn't die.
Who
I
would
mean, we
gotten
still
as
would
a
have done the
third? We'll have to
podcast.
talk about that.
Yeah, we
We'll have to talk
will.
about- Yeah.
Have to. I mean, we kind of been
Back
talking about replacing him anyway, so
Yeah.
definitely know that. But, yeah.
He's still on. Like, dude.
Oh crap! I forgot to.
But you at least
Oh.
found someone to cover your shift so you could hang out with us on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So
Yes.
that's really all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you didn't die. I guess that's a good second.
That's good too. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I actually opened some cards this week. I got some WWE Select blasters, and look at that. Look what I
That's
pulled.
awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
Your
That's
guy.
really cool.
I
Your
know.
guy.
I'm not
Is that
sure I'll
numbered?
keep it or I'll sell it. No, it's not. They're
Okay.
the retail ones have the silver flash, I believe, is the background.
Okay.
So like
Is there
differentiates
guaranteed
between-
odds
Hmm.
on those
No,
autos?
not for autos
wow.
and the blasters.
I like that it's
so,
got the inscription, like with the nickname and all that, like all that. That's really cool.
yeah, that's really. I
That's
mean,
when if you're gonna keep one, Mike, come on.
and I
After
also
Bronny
pulled
guy.
Juventud Guerrera. I
Hoovy.
mean, I remember Hoovy from WCW, obviously, but like I was quite surprised pulling his autograph out of Select. I did the slow reveal to myself, and I saw the mask, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, wait a minute, am I in 2000 WCW right here? So yeah, I mean, I guess he was in WWE for a
I don't
short bit.
remember him.
I don't
during the
really
Invasion
remember him.
storyline or whatever it was called, but
Right. Maybe, yeah.
I mean, we're old. We don't remember anything.
Yeah, I mean, come
Looks
on.
like
yeah.
a really fun rip though. Like, how was the quality? Pretty good.
Yeah, they're great cards. I enjoy those, and I've had a lot of luck with blasters in those, much more so than I've had with hobby boxes. So last year I pulled like the Rock tie dye out of 25, and you know that was a pretty good card. My biggest hit of the year out of it. So yeah, I mean, don't buy your blasters from eBay. Just make sure you buy them from like Target or Walmart or
Right.
something where you know they're not gone through. But yeah, I enjoy ripping that stuff. And I didn't tell you guys, but I'm buying some more cards from.
I think
someone.
you did.
No
is it
way.
wrestling cards?
No.
Oh, because you told us you were buying some AEW metal.
Oh no, I do have 3 boxes of that coming. The place I bought them from a little bit slow getting them out to me, so a little disappointed with that. But I'm not gonna rip them because they've been good in the past. But yeah, you know, our old buddy Mike the Cleaner, Mike from New York, the viewer
Mike
of the channel.
Cleaner.
Yeah,
Yes.
he actually hit me up on Twitter last night, and he's been opening a bunch of the new Topps Platinum Anniversary, and he has, you know, he got some good stuff out of it, but now he wants to get rid of the rest of the stuff that's piling up. So yeah, I gave him my number. Not sure that was a good idea or not, but you know, I gave him my number, and you know, he FaceTimed me and showed me the stuff he had, and we pretty quickly came to a price. So yeah, I'm gonna
Cool.
some.
Are you looking?
Go ahead, EP.
I was just saying, you're looking to put together a set for yourself, or just for to sell?
No,
them
for my
yourself, or-
sales. I'm
Okay.
trying to, you know, I sold a lot in the last stack sale. So if I'm going to run another one, I'm going to have something new to
I'm
sell.
never doing
So,
another one. I'm
Yeah.
never going
Every-
to
Post every sale. Yep.
Post every single sale. Yeah,
That's my gimmick.
that's your shtick.
What
We got
would
it.
people do if I wasn't running a stack sale? Though? Like, come on. Like, mine are more fun than anybody's. So
For sure.
Yeah,
It's an event.
it is. I really like to make it an event, you know, like everybody shares in the enjoyment with me. Yeah. Well,
Everyone.
okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, I don't know. Do you want to actually talk about some card
I thought
stuff?
this was it.
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
this it?
I don't know.
What are we doing? All right.
Should
all
we
right.
just
We'll-
end it
we'll
right
talk
here?
about cards. Yeah.
We could make it a quick podcast this week. I could go catch a nap or something like that. So yeah. No, well, I don't know if you guys have heard. This is really not up our alley, but because of the characters involved with this, I figured it's something we should probably talk about. A pretty big story going on in the hobby. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Instagram account Card Porn. They're also on, I think he's also on Twitter, anonymous, you know, user, hobby watchdog, whatnot, such and so forth. Well, apparently recently there was a Michael Jordan off like game used jersey that had sold on gray flannel auctions for $27,000. Apparently, Card Porn was the winner of that jersey. Pretty cool, right? It seems like I don't know what that stuff sells for, but like I feel like a Michael Jordan game used jersey, 27K doesn't sound bad.
Doesn't
I
sound
mean,
ridiculous.
I don't have
Sounds
that
like-
kind of money to buy, but
Right. Sounds like almost a pretty good deal, probably, right? Like possibly a good
seems
deal.
like it, yeah. Well, Darren Ravel broke the story that jersey, I can't get out of the card mode here. That jersey was then in turn authenticated by photo matching to be from the Eastern Conference Finals games, 2 games in the 90s there by My Gray authenticators. I guess they're one of the biggest photo matching authenticators in the hobby. I think they're actually even licensed by the NBA to and do this stuff. So, I mean, the premise is like this company will look at photos from the games and look for any signs of like maybe a stain or the stitching or an anomaly on the jersey or whatever that they can find on the actual jersey that they're trying to authenticate to say, yeah, look, this has a big stain right here. And when he was playing the game here, it had a big stain right there. Like it's pretty common practice. It's done a lot in that kind of stuff. I mean, it's rare to have something that is, so highly sought after that's from a certain game like that. But that's only part of the story. Apparently, that the My Gray authenticators authenticated this as that playoff jersey. Unfortunately, news started coming out. There was a collector in China that was claiming that the photos used were not real photos, that they had been photoshopped. Apparently, Card Porn, this is allegedly, was at the National trying to get PSA to authenticate these photos that were used, and they wouldn't authenticate them. So PSA must have been like, no, these are photoshopped. What are you talking about? This is only part of the story. Bear with me here. I'm trying to explain it to people that don't understand. This is just all over the place. Anyway, so yeah. Yep. So I guess there was a photographer that used to be a team photographer for the Orlando Magic who played the Bulls in that playoff series. Tony Ramsey, I think his name was. And these photos were submitted to My Gray authenticators, and they were said to come from this Tony Ramsey Foundation. Only problem is that Darren Ravel, let me go back a second here. Tony Ramsey died in 2006, and this was supposedly a foundation that was made in his name. Darren Ravel called his family, and they said, no, we don't have that foundation. Darren Ravel looked into it a little more and found out that this foundation was just created in July of 2023. Maybe right after the National said that these photos weren't real. So the authenticator were apparently using photoshopped photos from a fake foundation that was set up solely for the purpose to try to trick the authenticators into believing that these photos were real. I'm guessing, I don't know anything about how the photo matching authentication works. I don't know if they thought, oh, well, it's coming from this foundation and that guy was a photographer, so this all makes sense, that they didn't look at it closely enough to see if the actual pictures were real. They were just looking to see if the photo matched what the jersey was. But yeah, apparently they're photoshopped pictures, and the Gray Flannel Auctions, the owner of that company, was really shocked that they authenticated it, because apparently the consignor who was selling it through them had tried to get them photo matched from this place, and they had no matches. So like the same company that told the original owner of this jersey that no, it didn't match any of this stuff, then came out and said, oh yeah, it matches. And apparently they were using Photoshop. Like, are we to the point where photoshopped pictures are that good? I mean,
yeah.
is it? Like,
yeah,
I don't, sadly. So I don't know. Wherever you want to, I talked enough about this trying to give the details out. I'm sorry if I confused anybody, but this is a convoluted story altogether. The bottom line of what we're trying to get across here, though, is apparently Card Porn, who is supposed to be this big hobby watchdog, was involved in one of the biggest scams ever. I do think I forgot to point out that the jersey was then apparently valued at over $1 million. The jersey that he bought for $27,000. So, Joe, have at it.
I've been writing notes, which is weird for me. So I was going to start off by saying, let me paraphrase for Mike real quick. Very, very well done explaining that, but I can just paraphrase. Shockingly, people in this hobby are trying to scam other people in the hobby. That's all you need to say, Mike. We didn't need the whole thing. Just say Card Porn scams some people because, come on, is anyone shocked? I mean, is anyone shocked that anyone scams anyone in this hobby?
And let me add too that Card Porn has deactivated their Twitter and Instagram account.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah,
that's really not a great sign.
No.
Because you want to talk about I throw this term around a lot, this word around a lot, and it makes EP cringe every time. But you want to talk about fraud? I mean, taking a $27,000 jersey and trying to pass it off as $1 million jersey, that is fraud. I don't care if it's like the legal or not legal definition of fraud. You are trying to defraud someone out of $973,000. Okay.
Good math. Very good math.
Thank you. I'm killing it. But I want to talk about first, before I complain about photo matching, the irony that Card Porn was the site that everyone used for the LeBron exquisite jersey card issue, right? So doesn't it just blow your mind? Maybe not. Maybe it shouldn't blow our minds that they are the ones who are like, wait a minute, if we're really good at detecting if people are scamming, maybe we can scam and make this whole, look at this over here while we do this over here. Would that shock you at all? Like,
no, it
trying to distract.
Seems like a game plan more than something that should shock you.
Right.
Like,
it's just you're exactly right, Mike. Like it's like the don't look at the man behind the curtain thing. Be concerned about this stuff going on over here while we're trying to scam someone. My last point, I'll kick it to you, EP. But my last point is, I've always thought photo matching was the biggest opportunity for people to scam. Like I watched the Golden Touch or whatever it was called on Netflix. Not EP pulling Drew Jones cards, but the actual show.
Yeah.
And they were talking about photo matching. It was like a Britney Spears thing. It was like something she wore during a concert or whatever. And as they're going, oh, if you look at this and if you look at that, I'm like, if someone's really, really good, they can look at that and like make that jersey look like that, or vice versa.
Yeah,
they could probably have AI do it. And even better than
you,
better than they can. You know what I mean? Like that's the way things are.
Either AI with the picture or you like what's his name with trimming cards. Like I'm sure that's a whole skill set that people have, making things look like the picture. And it's just so Ziggy, I'll credit him by calling graders wizards. You really don't know what they're doing. Like photo matching is even worse. Like it is really wizards, because I don't trust anything that they're doing. I don't trust that they're not photoshopping the pictures. I don't trust that they're not trying to manipulate the actual jersey itself. Like, again, we say it time and time again on this podcast. If there is a way for someone to scam someone and make money in this hobby, they will do it. So that's all I have. But yeah, fraud is the word of the day for me.
Well, I got a couple things. First off, that I want to riff off of what Joe was saying. First off, from now on, these people, these bad actors, let's refer to them as what's his names. They're all what's his names from now on.
Okay.
We don't want to give them the power of putting their name out there. So the what's his names, that's one thing. And then also fraud. Listen, fraud is an actual word, and it's actual like legally defined, and people get charged with fraud. My issue is when you call when somebody, not you, Joe. When somebody calls somebody a fraud, as a new newspaper guy, I know I need to attribute that to somebody. So or there need to be charges. Like there need to be something official. Like that's the only reason why. But
I'll say potentially fraudulent activity. There
again, still
potential fraudster. Yeah,
yes,
potential fraudster.
Police said, well, you need to have some police said or the court document
Joe
said
Day said
at the end of that.
Does that work?
You are not. You're not the authority. When we were going over this in the pre-show, when Mike was talking about what we're going to talk about, I thought to myself, and I said to stop myself, I was like, this is exactly like when people are like watching true crime shows and they're watching shows about serial killers, and you think to yourself, well, this person's just learning how to do all of this. They'll be good to do it when they can. Like
Evan Mathis. Evan Mathis cutting cards.
I mean, what's his name? I mean, what's his name, right?
What's his name? Trimming cards. Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's the kind of thing where like maybe somebody gets really confident and they think, well, I can do this better than the other people that have got caught because I know how to, I know how to do it. I'm not.
That's his whole thing. That's card porn's whole thing is catching people doing shit like this.
Yeah, and it's so awful because we have a few of these people that are out there trying to shine light on these things that are bad, but then to have one of the people that is respected for doing that. All allegedly, no charge has been filed. I just want to say that, like, I don't want to besmirch anybody, but it's sure if the whole point of like turning off your Twitter account, like turning off your accounts, like shutting them down, like that is if again, I'm not going to say it, but
say it.
If there's a way, like a social media admission of guilt, it is shutting down your stuff after you've been accused of something and just not wanting to deal with it. Like that is an admission of guilt. Not court of law. It will not stand up in a court of law. Please do not take this as me calling
People
anybody
quoting you right now.
That's the problem. Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. But no. Anyhow, So I mean, like, I feel like it's very disappointing when a very disappointing turn of events for sure.
USA Today tomorrow morning. Eric Pahalik calls card porn fraud.
Award-winning journalist.
Award-winning Pennsylvania journalist Eric Pahalik.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah. By the way, as an aside, you mentioned at the very jump of this, Mike, they are anonymous, right? No one knows. Apparently, there are people who do whatever. But
or people that say they do.
It's
actually Juan Garcia, I think, is the person's name. It's come out. No, seriously.
Really? Oh, okay.
Person, yeah. All right. I have no idea who that is. So
anyone who is trying to build a brand like this and is anonymous, we are all, us least, I think, but we are all kind of whores for attention, especially if you're doing a YouTube channel. Like, you want people to know who you are. You want people to say, oh, hey, did you see so-and-so broke this story on whatever? Like, you want that. So for them to come out and be anonymous, like, come on, you're not Ryan Reynolds, let's calm down about this a little bit. So for them to be anonymous, and I'm right out of the gate, I'm thinking there's probably something shady going on, right?
I mean, for sure, but I feel like we can bring back idiot of the week this week for what's his name, just because this totally fits right here. Because if you're,
by the way, this is not going to work. EP, what's its name thing? There are so many scammers. You can't just say what's its name.
What's his name number 75?
Scammer,
what's his name number 75?
Right.
But I mean, this is just such. I totally lost my train of thought. I do.
I'll save you here. One thing I forgot to mention too is Darren Ravel reached out to the foundation for clarification, and I can't do it justice. You have to look it up if you really want to see. But the email he got back from them, from the supposed person that ran it, you have to read it for yourself, because like it is very clear that this person is not somebody running a foundation. It's very clear this person is a card collector and not somebody that has the skills to run a charity foundation. So yeah, look it up if you're really interested. Look up for the emails that the supposed foundation sent to Darren Ravel. But Joe, one more thing. The point about being anonymous, the excuse always was because they're outing everybody. They, don't want to.
It's like they're in the mafia.
Now we might know there might have been ulterior motives to being anonymous. I can call other people out and do shady stuff without anybody ever noticing it. Like they even had their photo icon was like a woman. Like, it's weird on so many levels. Like I always thought it was a little weird, like the whole anonymous thing, but like I said, I'm not big on Instagram. I never really followed the stuff that was going on with that account. So everything I heard was pretty much secondhand. Never really thought much about it. But yeah, I always thought the anonymous part of it's weird, and like now it all makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like going back to my thought that I lost.
Oh, good.
Joe,
Got it.
I mean, Joe was talking about. I mean, I think he was alluding to, and like this person's trying to build this brand as this person that is this watchdog. But if you, I mean, again, this is the way a lot of people think. Like I can make more money if I can get this, if I can make them turn this jersey into that jersey, and it's worth $1 million. Then I don't need card porn because I got $1 million. Is that
a lot of work?
Like it is.
A lot of work went into that scam. Like, and it seems like in a very short period of time too. Like, just blows my mind. Like every time we talk about somebody doing something really stupid and shady, somebody's like, "Hold my beer. I'll show you something stupid and shady." And like, wow. Like I don't. I'm glad that my mind doesn't work that way, that I don't want to scam people. Maybe I am. Maybe that's why I'm saying it. But still, like
this is the long game.
Great, yeah.
All the thought and effort that goes into trying to pull off a scam. Why don't you use that time and energy towards something legitimate? Again, you can build something that can
you imagine what you would build?
Because you're in this hobby. That's your answer.
Yeah.
You're
what
in this
is
hobby.
It about our hobby that just makes people do this stuff? I think it's because it's so easy to do. Honestly, I feel like
the history of it. It's like, it always has happened.
So many people are so successful at doing it, and you never find out about it. That the random ones that are caught here and there, people are like, "How does this happen?" Because everybody like Sports Card Radio talks about the old boys network and stuff. Like there's a shady underside of this hobby that a lot of people are involved in, that the rest of us, including people like ourselves that come on here and talk about it, we have no idea. We're just reacting to what we hear. We don't know that. If you're not part of it, you don't know it, but it seems to be worse than anybody knows.
And I'm going to push back on Sports Card Radio saying the old boys network, because some of the biggest scams we've seen recently. So you've got this card porn thing. I assume he's not part of the collector's universe,
I don't know,
BBCE world or whatever.
Right.
You had Blake Martinez.
What's his name?
Doing his scamming. He's new to the hobby. He's not an old boys network. He's new to the hobby. You had Evan Mathis trimming cards. And, I was writing down here, one of the first big scams was trimming that Honus Wagner card that turned into a PSA 8, right? And that has like this history about it now. It's like looked upon as kind of like this, oh, hey, isn't this a great story? And Wayne Gretzky bought it and this and that. It's got this lineage. Maybe people are looking at shit like that going, hey, if they're applauding the first big scam in the hobby, people will forget. People won't remember what I did. What's it matter? No one pushes back. People just let it happen. And I will say, we're going to have, I'm going to plug, we're bringing 8 questions back. It's going to be uploaded at some point soon with Mike Summer, who's great, but he mentioned this really fun story about how he got backstage at a certain event, and we'll leave it for the video. But he said it happened in 1996. Like, oh, stuff like that would never happen now. This feels very much like a 1995 story. Like the fact that they thought they could get away with it, and like, oh, I'm going to do this fake thing, and no one will know, no one will like look anything up, no one will call the
foundation.
Feel like EP now. Call the foundation, right? Like, go watch the movie Shattered Glass if you haven't. It's about a reporter who basically was just making up his own sources. It's off of a true story, Stephen Glass. But go watch that. Like, you are shocked at how much hubris someone has to have to think, I'll just make a fake foundation, fake phone number, fake letterhead, whatever, and then all of a sudden I'm going to turn a $27,000 jersey into $1 million, and it worked.
Yeah. Like it worked.
It was found out.
It was, but like
if this
not
was
by
1995, I don't
not
think
by
it would
the
have been found out.
people involved. Like that's the
Yeah.
crazy part. Like thankfully, we do have
If only we
social
had someone to
media, the
watch out for
internet
this
and
stuff.
stuff. But yeah, like we can't count on any one watchdog. Everybody has to be watching. But yeah, like the authenticator authenticated it. It was
Right.
people had questions about it too. But like you made a great
Was it
point,
Rick?
Joe.
Did Rick
It might have been
authenticate
Rick.
this?
Rick might have done it. I don't know. Yeah, but like you made a great point though, like about photo matching. Okay, you have people out there that are good at looking at a picture and telling if this item matches it. Common sense will tell you if those people are out there, there are also people that are out there that are very good at looking at a photo and making something match it. Like that, I agree totally, Joe. Like that is not a foolproof method of proving that something was from there. Like again, if you're good at telling somebody, there's already somebody out there. Oh yeah, look at that little blood right here. I'll get a little something, blot that, like, and make it look exactly like the pictures they're looking at.
And hell, it could
from
have
a
been someone that
specific game.
worked for one of these places. Like it's a whole firefighters or arsonists thing, right? Like, could you
Okay, yeah, I mean-
like if you've heard that, right? You know,
yeah,
like
yeah. Yes,
you
yeah,
know,
100%.
like would you be shocked if this was someone who actually authenticated stuff like this because they are so good at it? It's like to EP's point about watching these Discovery ID shows about, serial killers, like, oh shit, I could get away with that kind of deal. I will say my last little note I wrote down here, the sleaziest part of this whole thing is making a foundation, a charity foundation in honor of a dead man just to scam people. That is the sleaziest part of this whole deal for me. Like, it's gross. Like, oh,
That
hey, we
person
might get
has
caught. We're going to have
family,
to do this
too.
foundation.
Yeah,
He has, so whoever this person is, they should sue him for that $1 million they got for that jersey.
Absolutely.
Because it's just the grossest part of it for me.
That's one last thing I was going to bring up is bringing into my journalism background again. Just because you get an email from a foundation doesn't necessarily mean that is actually true. Like there are just if this was this easy for this person to create this foundation, like 2 months ago, like less than 2 months ago, and it's a legit thing, and somebody actually was so legit that somebody actually used it as to verify these things. Imagine how many other foundations that are out there are not actually affiliated with the person that they're foundation for. Like there are probably way more of them than we ever want to even think about.
Absolutely. Well, another thing that's not affiliated with the company is Stat Smasher insert cards. We're all retro guys here. We remember Wild Card. Stat Smashers were like one of the coolest. They were probably the coolest insert card that ever came out at that time. They were a very cool looking card. And, Panini just allegedly ripped off. I don't have to say allegedly.
You don't have
anymore,
to say allegedly
because Wild Card had sued Panini a while back for copyright infringement. Look at the cards; they are literally the same. They absolutely. I don't think
they don't
Panini,
have the IP of these. It's not like a Pacific thing or a playoff thing, right?
I think Panini's defense was that Wild Card didn't really retain the copyright because they went out of business and whatnot. But unfortunately, Wild Card still has a bankruptcy trustee and they owe money to people, and they sued Panini, and Panini decided to settle out of court. They're paying Wild Card, the bankruptcy court, $25 million for infringing on Wild Card's intellectual property. Big settlement, but an interesting twist is that the bankruptcy trustee said that this settlement will pretty much pay off everybody who Wild Card still owed money to. So like 30 years later, the people are finally going to get their due. Do you want to know who one of the biggest people that they owed money to was? The NFL Players Association.
Wow, they're kind of roses. NFL Players Association.
Circle.
I love this. Couple of weeks.
So yeah, like when I read that part about it, I was like, fantastic. Oh, that's interesting. So the Players Association is going to get paid. I guess Wild Card, do you remember back when the quarterback club was a thing?
Yeah.
Like you remember like the group of quarterbacks in the early 90s, the star quarterbacks like felt like their licensing was worth more, I believe, than the NFL PA as a whole. And like that was one of the problems that Wild Card got into with like, it was a weird time for cards because some had like the quarterback club license but didn't have the NFLPA, and some had the NFLPA but not the quarterback club, and like it was just a really messy time. But yeah, apparently the NFLPA is getting paid by Panini from this. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything else, but just wanted to throw that out there. But $25 million for infringing on their IP, no defense. Like they totally stole the card. Why?
I mean, EP said it great for the last segment that like turning off your Instagram is an pretty good admission of guilt. Paying someone $25 million. Pretty good as well. I mean, even though
you're
there's
settling
no
for 25 million, so
if you're settling,
you were going to be paying 50 million. Yeah,
right, exactly. And
somebody at Panini is like, you should fight this, and the lawyer's like, dude, look at this. Like you got no shot. Just
the front and the back.
How much they need, we'll pay them. That's it.
How often do we talk about, man, these card companies just have no new ideas. They keep ripping off old stuff. Literally, in this case, ripping off old stuff. With that $25 million that they paid out, I'm guessing the jersey cards and upcoming Panini products will be from Sam's Club and not Dick's Sporting Goods. They're going to have to go and
they're going to be importing them from China. The fake stuff from China,
right? I mean, the full circleness of it is the best part of the story for me. But Wild Card, pour one out.
Big win for Wild Card.
Yeah.
Now this is the old Wild Card, not the new Wild Card.
Yes,
They're totally different companies.
Yes,
but the Wild Card was remnants of it. Yeah.
With the 5, 10, 20, 100 stripes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great stuff.
So good
too.
Didn't you just buy some of those recently, Mike? I feel like you bought some for a stack sale recently.
I have an unopened box sitting here.
I had whatever it was 2021. I got Trevor Lawrence rookie year. That was a while ago, maybe a year ago or so. I opened a couple blasters. It was fun, but it wasn't real Wild Card. I want to get real Wild Card.
No, I thought you.
I was looking at them. Yeah, no, I haven't bought any.
I have an unopened box of 91 or 92 football here.
Our next stream, you're opening.
Actually, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
For our next stream, I should get a box of Wild Card Chromium. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah,
they were
great. Yeah,
it's actually not super expensive either because I've seen a couple boxes of them that are
$40, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
under 50.
Oh yeah, so. For the next stream, it'll be a wild stream.
when I heard this news, my first thought was, well, at least Panini is not involved in any like frivolous lawsuits or anything. They can afford to pay the $25 million, right? So I mean, they're not wasting any money on lawyers. They got lawyers coming in and out of that place.
That's why they didn't fight it, EP. They've got to focus on this antitrust thing going on. They're like, we'll just give Wildcard $25 million so we don't have to divert resources. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Paying out $25 million for this, you're paying lawyers out the butt. You have lost your revenue stream for the NFL football cards, at least for the time being. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be Panini.
Well, I don't know if they have. They're still shipping out products. I'm still
they
watching
are.
this
Yes,
stuff
that
break
is
online.
true.
I don't know.
Oh. All right, let's move on a little bit here. EP, you brought this one to my attention. We all saw a while back the picture of Victor Wembanyama. He has the signed card that says "My First Signed Card," and everybody was like, they put redemptions in it. Like, how's this even a thing? How are they going to pick who gets that card? Well, that was one of the green refractors, I believe, numbered to 99, and turns out that they had a plan for what they were going to do with that card. Topps is hosting a private event to raffle off the card that he signed first, the first card signed. Since he was drafted by San Antonio, they're going to hold the raffle of 9/23 in San Antonio. Anybody who pulled a redemption card for that card that has redeemed it by the 8th of September will be invited to go and be part of this. And one of the people there are going to win that specific card. Topps is even going to give the people up to $400 for travel expenses to get to San Antonio, which is pretty cool. So again, Michael Rubin, episode 1, blah, blah, blah. We all talk about it, but marketing, like this is different. Like, again, some people are going to just crap on it because whatever, but I think it's really cool. You're making that card, which everybody knows about. Now you're making it an event and you're holding it in the city where he got drafted. He's going to be playing. And like, I didn't pull one of those redemption cards, but wow, if I did, that'd be really cool. Now I'm not getting on a plane. Don't get me wrong, but
Mike will be driving to San Antonio.
I would be driving to San Antonio, but
road trip.
I don't know. I think it's really kind of a cool thing that they're doing, making an event of it and making the person like who wins that card, making it a special thing. That person, they're going to get their picture taken. It's going to be a big event and good for basketball cards. They don't even have the license yet, and they're doing more to promote basketball cards than the company that still does. Like, just keep that in mind.
Yep.
You might have mentioned it already, Mike, but is he going to be there, Wembanyama?
I was going to say that. I would assume he'll be there. Right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I made mention, when we were talking about the whole Panini Fanatics, thing the last few weeks, I made mention that I'm really concerned that they're not going to be very innovative. When I said that, I meant in terms of their cards, like what they're producing. The marketing part, though, yeah, for sure. I mean, they're going to be much more innovative. They're much better at it. They have, we call them a big boy company all the time. They have those resources. They did it with their jerseys and their apparel and things like that. So this is a very cool thing. Now, I just want them to take the awesome thoughts and put it into products, like do these type of things to innovate some products. And, maybe this could be a yearly thing that they do, whoever the top draft pick is for whatever sport. It would be fun to make it not just a one-time thing, make it, every year you've got the number one pick or the best player or whatever.
Let me interject here though, that watch this Wednesday's video because we are going to be giving our pitches. So Fanatics knows what they need to do with
and we know Mike and Ruben are our friends. So hide that shirt, Mike. He might see that shirt today and not like it.
No, you see, this is not a Panini thing. I'm sorry. This is a Donruss thing. This pre-existed Panini by easily 20 years. Like, I am not giving Panini ownership of the rated rookie, even though they technically own the intellectual property. They did not create
what they don't own.
This is not them. And they're probably not going to have this logo for a whole lot longer. Let's be real. So at some point, I feel like this will be a top shirt. I'm sorry, EP. I just wanted to push Wednesday's video though, because I think that'll be kind of fun and we will help innovate the football cards, at least for Fanatics. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they had the rookie patches that they put in for baseball. The baseball players are going to put in the cards, and so they've been. I think they do have some of those people with the big brains thinking about that kind of stuff, and I really look forward to that. But I thought to myself when this whole thing came out, when we've seen people inscribe autos before. How long have we had one of ones and autos and products? And this is the first time that anybody did anything like this. Like this is awesome. I think like this is such a like I don't want to say revolution, but I mean it is really like a crazy a crazy cool thing that nobody thought of before because again they were just able to put money.
Idea.
Yes,
right.
Nobody else thought of it.
I will say one of the reasons that people probably hadn't thought of this before is people weren't Michael Rubin before, right? Like he has these connections that most other card companies probably never had. So like for him to do it, it's awesome, but it's also, I don't want to say expected because it takes a little bit of the luster off of it, but he should be getting these massive stars to be doing these cool things like commercials for Topps and things like that. He should be able to do that because of the connections he's had, as a former owner, especially.
The thing is, though, like these probably even back to the 90s, like all the companies had licenses to the NFLPA and the NFL, you know what I mean, and the NBA and NBA, Players Association. Like they had all these connections before, and they had, like everybody knew the
card playoff in 1995.
Who owned playoff in 1995?
Who owned? Yeah, I was going to say who owned Pacific, but it was Kramer.
I have no idea, but they still
but they weren't as big. Like Ruben is a big guy. Like he literally not. He's like EP height, but he is though the only picture I've seen of him is he was next to Victor Wembanyama. So
I'll cut that out so we don't lose any of our sponsorship.
Right. I haven't seen any of that cash. Like leave it in. But he's a big guy in the industry. but beyond the industry, right? Like he's a real mainstream big guy. So
He's a
I
pop
think it's a
culture
little
guy, is what
he's
he
a
is.
pop
He's not
culture guy.
just
Yeah, that's a good
he's
way to
like
put it.
transcended just being a businessman, like especially like sports culture. Like he's very involved with that, and he has great relationships with a lot of players.
He's not like the McWilliams family in Upper Deck. Like they're
Yeah,
not going to
no.
get
Like
something like this or be
he's
able to do
hanging
something
out
like
with
this.
these guys and like having fun with them, and like I think the players have a respect for him that they've never any other company, like you said, Joe, who owned what? Nobody knows. Like he is the face of that company, and he's out there and he's being seen and people know him. So that's a big difference. And like it really will help with stuff. Like I hope they do a lot more stuff with like special inscriptions, because like I'm not a huge auto guy. Yeah, anybody likes pulling an autograph out of a pack of cards, but like if you pull out one that has a special inscription on it, like it's going to be cool and it's going to be valuable, and like people are going to like that. So I feel like it's like the card itself is an innovation that they can use that type of thing in future products, but more about the marketing. Like we talked about this a lot about, he talked about a lot. Ruben's always said about how the companies don't spend any money on marketing. We're going to change that. So it's really, as a marketing person myself, like I love the marketing aspect of it. I like seeing what they're doing, and I'm hopeful for what they can continue to do. Whether it grows the hobby 10x or not, who knows? But like it is kind of exciting to see that. So I like
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, a little bit of deja vu. I think probably, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so, I talked about Bronny James having his first card and first autograph in Topps McDonald's basketball. Everybody thought it was going to happen last year, and it didn't. Here we are again. It's supposed to be happening in the 2023 product. Now, you know, we all know what happened to Bronny, and I don't know what his future holds, and anything kind of looks pretty good for him. But I mean, obviously that was a serious situation with him collapsing and stuff. So, but still, I mean, if it's finally going to be in this year's Topps McDonald, pretty cool, right? Anybody have thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, very, very, very cool. Like, I realize a lot of people dislike LeBron for a lot of different things, but you have to respect what he's done as an NBA player, and to have his son come out, it's a big deal. It's. You guys saw that Deion Sanders' son.
Oh, he's
threw for like
he's going to win the Heisman. He threw for 500 yards, and Deion will make sure his son wins the Heisman. Right. Believe me.
So they're these iconic figures in sports, and if they have a child that is actually good at the sport as well, like it's a natural connection that all the people that have been LeBron fans are gonna really connect to him. So to have somebody have their first auto in a product is an exciting time. And like, again, same thing with Deion's son. Like, when obviously if he does continue to, as he has, when he starts having cards and autos and that sort of stuff, it's gonna be, everybody's gonna go bananas over that.
If he's not in products soon,
like tomorrow,
I'd be shocked. Arch Manning is in products. I would not be shocked if Deion's son, not to get off topic, but I will say the reason we talked about this last time, if I remember correctly, is we were thinking, is this we're trying to get LeBron, right? Let's get LeBron over here, and his Upper Deck exclusivity deal. Did I say that right?
Yeah, good job.
I'm killing it today. It's the spirit
and words,
right? But I think with LeBron being kind of a free agent, so to speak, we thought last time this would be something else to kind of pull him over to the Fanatics family. It wouldn't shock me if how cool would it be, regardless of what happens with Bronny going forward, how cool would it be to have a LeBron Bronny dual auto?
Oh, yeah.
And they'd be on card because, I assume they live pretty close to each other. They would be able to do it. But like, how cool would that be? So, I mean, something like this finally happening, very cool. But I also do think that there was, maybe less than now, I'm not sure, an ulterior motive to get LeBron into the Fanatics exclusive family.
Or maybe it's all wrapped up in one deal. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, that's possible too. Yeah. And when you talked about family members EP and how it's so cool to have a a father and a son that are both great at the sports, or even family in general. Jim Kelly and his nephew Chad Kelly. I mean, Chad killed it, right? He was awesome. You remember
I was
Chad Kelly?
thinking more Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever example you want to use.
Or Tony Dorsett and Anthony Dorsett. Does everyone remember Anthony? Anyone? No?
It is extremely rare to have
It is.
like a father still active when a son could be active also. I mean, he's not there yet. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully he'll be able to resume his career. But yeah, I mean,
the crazy thing about the Mannings, right? I mean, Archie, 3 pro quarterbacks, plus a third that might have been. And then
bucket list is a triple auto of Archie, Eli, and
Peyton. But it's going to be outdated once Arch.
Once Archie. Could you imagine how cool that quad auto would be?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Look, come on, let's pull our money together.
Spend some of that Drew Jones money,
and we can chip in a little bit, and we'll sign all of them to a deal to sign autographs.
Oh, for the MRTC family.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we haven't talked about the grading numbers for a couple months here because they were pretty much the same every month, but I did want to bring it up this month. Wow, grading numbers were up across the board. Holy cow. Like, what in the world is going on here? PSA graded 1.23 million, almost 1.25 million cards, up 18% from last month. SGC was at 118,000, up 25%. CGC was 106,000, up 52%, but we're assuming that this is the first month where they actually have the sports cards back in, but still over 100,000 cards altogether, and 75,000 for Beckett. They were up 31%. Like, wow, that is a lot of cards. Talking like 1.5 million cards in a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I made the joke when you sent these out, Mike, that I can tell Beckett must be up a lot because their customer service, which had been really good for me in the past, has totally ghosted me. I'm still waiting for a FedEx label to send back a card to get it reslabbed. But my takeaway here is hey, when I'm wrong, in the words of Jerry Orbach and Dirty Dancing, when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I really thought CGC was going to be number 2. I'm kind of shocked that SGC is ahead of them. Granted, it's only 12,000 cards, but I really thought once they added and combined the sports and the non-sports, I really thought that they would be the clear number 2. Mm-hmm. And SGC is either, having a good month, running a big deal, something must
Topps
be going on there.
Special.
Was it Topps Chrome special running? Yep. So that might be it. But all across the board, it's crazy. And I plugged it already, the 8 questions, with Mike Summer. I will say he mentioned about, it's crazy how many cards were graded between 2019 and 2021. I'm like, it hasn't ended. I mean, if you look at these numbers, this has to be the most ever graded ever, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I know the months we covered them, the numbers were never that high. So just PSA alone, like being that
PSA alone might be the most ever graded. And then you throw in a couple of 6 figures by CGC and SGC. Craziness.
I was surprised that the CGC's numbers, like the overall numbers, were down 38% from the previous year. Like that seemed odd. I think
that might be some of the chicanery with their
weird database issues they've been having.
I'd really like to know what they've actually been grading over these.
Because I mean, plus 52% that's significant. That's a huge bump up for them for month over month. So, but I did some math as Joe was talking, just so we're clear. Yeah, 31 days in August, 39,677 cards per day by PSA. 39,000 cards per day, almost 40,000.
If you ever think they look at your cards for more than 10 seconds, you're crazy. They're looking at your card, boop, boop, done. Great. Like, yeah.
Unless it's a Jordan or like a Randy Moss rookie, like or something like a Brady. Yep.
And this is why PSA doesn't ever let you know how many graders they have, right? They don't want people figuring out
Right.
Yeah, we got
cards this person's grading. Yeah,
we got 20 graders grading 40,000
It's like
cards a day.
Amazon. They're wearing diapers. They,
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
bathroom
we
breaks for
lock
you.
the door behind them, and they don't come out until they get 100,000 cards
Yep.
in a day.
14-hour days sweating.
Oh wow! It's almost like working for the newspaper.
It is.
Right. Indeed.
He knows all about this. Maybe you should get a job working for PSA grading.
I wonder what the
second
per
job,
hour
yeah.
is. Ask him the per hour on that. I'll tell you what, the thought that BGS is dead and just going to go away. I know a couple of our viewers have said that in the comments before. Sure, it's only 75,000 cards, right? Could you imagine if back in 1999 when they were grading, they got 75,000 cards in a month? I mean, that's crazy. I don't think they're dead either. They have that niche that no one else has right now. And if people want subgrades, if they want their thick cards graded, if they like the inner sleeve, there's like certain things about BGS that people are still really going to like, especially with grading things like PMGs or thicker cards that have edge and corner issues that PSA will just absolutely crush. So I do like to see, I'd like to see them in six figures as well, but 75,000 is a lot of cards for BGS.
Yep.
So much so they're ghosting Joe Day. I mean, come on, man.
Did you tell him who you were?
Right. I should have said, don't you know who I am?
That totally would have worked.
They're plus 82% year over year. Like I thought that was one of the, there were a lot of shocking numbers here, but that was definitely one of them too. Like 82%. I mean, they had shut down the grading.
They had shut down. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, plus 82% is, I mean, that says that there are people that want to send their cards there. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty significant.
Regardless of what you think about PSA, like, the numbers they're doing and the business they're doing is like just mind blowing. Like as a business person, I'm fascinated by how quickly they have scaled up their business. Like it really is impressive knowing that they shut down in the spring of 2021. And here just a little more than 2 years later, they got all that done and they're grading 1.25 million cards in a month. Like, wow, that is like, say whatever you want about Nat Turner and stuff, but boy, they did a fantastic job with that company. They're just like being able to meet the demand that they have. Crazy.
Again, looking at the percentages, like we talked about how many cards they've been grading, like up 25% from last month. Like just that's mind blowing considering how much they're already grading. Up 38% year over year. Yeah, up 38% for the last year. Like people have been grading like crazy ever since they reopened, but they're up 38% from last year. Like it's, I mean, we keep thinking to ourselves, how can they really grade? They got to be hitting that ceiling soon, right?
Once they hit 1 million, I remember how blown away we were when they hit that million mark. Right. And now it's like, if they don't hit 1 million, it's a story. Like them hitting 1.23, I looked at them like, boy, that's a lot. But then I'm like, well, I mean, they're over 1 million on a pretty regular basis. In a down card market, let's not forget that too. Like people are still spending the $15 to $20+ to send them cards every single month in a market that you're not going to get anywhere near the return that you were getting before. So I mean, it's impressive. At some point, though, boys, the bubble's got to burst, right? Like at some point, someone's going to say this grading thing is all shell game magic, right? It's like
it is, but that doesn't stop people from sending cards. Right? All I know is like if you're a card collector, PSA 9s are the way to go because with this many cards being graded, PSA 9s are already kind of selling for the same or less than raw. So like buy PSA
if you're a
PSA
Brady collector or a LeBron collector, get an 8. Get a 7 in some of the sets.
But on new stuff, like if you can buy a 9 for less than the price of a raw card, absolutely. Give that to me all day long. Yeah.
But the problem with if you're a true collector, if you're a flipper, people are buying these 9s, cracking them, wiping them down with a microfiber,
right,
and then sending them off to try and get 10s. I'm curious how, and it's a number that we can't calculate, but how many of those 1.23 million cards are cards that they sold multiple times that month.
It's all
Right.
just the same group of cards, and people are cracking it out of one service and sending it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Then they
really
sell to
not
somebody and they're
bringing
like, "Oh man, this looks really nice.
Oh, I could
I'm gonna
practice and get a 10 out of this bad boy.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, we'll wrap things up there this week. That was a pretty good chat, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Adios.
See you, boys.